everyone. Welcome all to PyLadies Con 2025. I'm sure you all are having a great time here. I'm super excited to introduce our next talk, which is Python for Automation, Getting Rid of Repetitive Tasks and Reclaiming Your Time by the Joy of Tech. Joy is a software engineer, developer advocate, and community leader passionate about the transformative power of AI and technology in solving real world challenges. I really like the talk line, especially the repetitive task and reclaiming your time. Let's hear more about this from Joy. Joy, the stage is all yours now.
Can I get a show of hands? Who here has ever spent hours organizing files on their computer? What about sending the same email over and over? Or filling out the same form multiple times? Yeah, me too. And that's exactly why I'm here today. To show you how Python can turn these tedious tasks into a few lines of code that run themselves. Hi, I'm Joytari Baksha, a software engineer, AI advocate, and tech community builder dedicated to helping more women break into tech. And in the next 15 minutes, we are going to automate 4 common tasks: organizing files, sending emails, interacting with websites, and making it all run on a schedule. And the best part, you can do all of this with beginner level Python experience. So let's dive in. Okay, so here's my downloads folder. Sounds familiar? We've got PDFs mixed with photos, code files everywhere, videos, it's a mess. Let's go ahead and open this up as well on our code terminal. Yeah. So you can see the same files, videos mixed with photos, documents, etc. Normally, I'd spend 10 to 15 minutes manually sorting these, but watch what happens when I let Python do it. So here's the code. Let me break it down quickly. First, we define what types of files we want to organize. As you can see here, images, documents, code, audio, video, archives, and so on. Python's pathlib model makes working with files really elegant. Then to our main function. Our main function does these 3 things. Firstly, it creates folders for each file types. Then it looks at each file's extension and then moves these files to the right folder based on their extensions. To run the code, all we have to do is navigate to the README file. I've put in extensive instructions on how to set up your environment and even activate your environment and run the commands as well. And we are organizing files, so all we have to do is copy this particular command and paste it in the terminal. And I'll choose option 1 to organize the downloads folder. After choosing option 1, I'll be required to enter the path for the particular folder I want to go ahead and organize. And you can get this from your file just at the top here. You can copy the path and then you paste it on the code. And watch the output. It's showing us each file being moved, and done. In just a few seconds, everything is organized. Let me go ahead and show you on my file manager. So look at that. We now have folders for archives, audio, code, data, documents, images, videos, and others as well. Everything in its place. What would have taken me 15 minutes now takes 2 seconds. And here's the powerful part. You can customize this. Maybe you want to organize by date instead of type, or add new categories. The code is yours to adapt to your needs. But file organization is just the beginning. Let's talk about communication. Now over to the email automation. Sending emails programmatically might sound complicated, but Python makes it surprisingly easy with the smtplib library. It's built right into Python. So let's go ahead and head over to the file for the email. And here is our main function. It takes a recipient, subject, and body, just like composing an email normally. But now we can call this function from anywhere in our code. Let's try running our email automation script. So you head over to your README and you can see it provided here. So all you have to do is go ahead and copy this command and paste it in your terminal. And when you run that command, you would see that you will be given steps to configure your Gmail credentials if you haven't done that. So you can also go ahead and read the README file in-depthly to see how to configure that. So behind the scenes, I'll be connecting to an email server. I'm using Gmail here. I'm authenticating with my credentials and sending the message, all with just a few lines of code. Now, super important, we never had code our passwords into our scripts. See how we are using environment variables, sensitive info in a .m file, which is this, and that file never gets shared. So here's what the M file looks like. For Gmail, you would use an app password, not your regular password. Links to set that up are also in the README file, so do well to check that out. So behind the scenes, I'm going ahead to activate my virtual environment, make sure that every library that I need is available and my environment file is also found. And lastly, I also went ahead to configure my email credential. So now when you run this command, you should be able to get this that says everything is set up, let's send some emails. But we can do more than just plain text. So if you go through the code base for the email sender file, you can see that there are functions that send HTML emails in form of formatted text, colors, and images, whatever you need. And here there's a practical example, an automated weekly report. So imagine every Friday, your computer automatically sends you a summary of what you've accomplished that week. Pretty cool, right? So you can use this for sending reminders to yourself, notifying team members when something happens, sending birthday wishes automatically, and even monthly newsletters. The possibilities are endless. And here's form filling. Ever had to fill out the same form repeatedly, maybe for testing or data entry? With Selenium, you write the script once and it can fill out forms hundreds of times without errors, way faster and more accurate than doing it manually. So now, back to our terminal. After running your script, you can go ahead and choose the option 1, which is to send a simple email. And then you get to impute your email as a recipient's email. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. All right, great. And then you get to enter the subject of your email you'd want to send. And so for this, I'm going to name it Python automation testing. And then you get to write your message as well. Hello, Joy. This is a test mail for your Python automation talk. Good luck. The script is connecting to Gmail, authenticating and sending. And there it is, email received. What took several clicks and typing in my email client now happens instantly from code. And because it's code, I can trigger this from other scripts on a schedule or even based on events. So we can organize files, we can send emails. But what about the web? Now let's move on to web automation. This is where things get really powerful. Selenium lets us control a web browser programmatically. Here, I've created a class that wraps common web tasks. Think of it as a robot that can open websites, click buttons, fill out forms, take screenshots, extract information. These methods let us locate elements on a page by ID, by name, by CSS selector, and also interact with them. Here's a practical example. Automated Google searching. Maybe you want to monitor how often certain topics appear or check search rankings for your website. Now, all you have to do is run the command. You can go over to your README file again. And all you have to do is also copy this command and run it in your terminal. Automation. Now let's go ahead and run our command for web automation. And here we can see that we have options. So I'm going to choose option 1, which is search Google, and then enter search query. For this, I'm going to type in PyLadies automation. And here we can see that it's performing the searching. So you can watch and see that the browser will also open automatically, navigate to Google, and also type out queries and click searches. So you can see that I'm not touching the code, I'm not touching my laptop or my web browser, but then the search is currently going on. And afterwards as well, a screenshot will be taken so that I can be able to monitor search results and any other thing I'd like to do. And then you can also see the images as well of all your searches, the screenshots of all your searches. It comes up here so you can be able to see. And here you can see PyLadies automation and all information ranked according to their SEO, anything that has to do with PyLadies. Okay, the script even extracted the first result title, so we could save this data, we could analyze trends, whatever we need. And here are some practical world uses for this as well. So with this, you can automate form submissions, you can collect data from websites, you can test web applications, you can monitor price changes, and you can also fill out repetitive paperwork. Any repetitive web task can definitely be automated using this. And now running this script manually is already powerful, but what if they could run themselves? And this is where everything comes together. The schedule library lets us make any Python function run automatically. So if we go over to the schedule file, I've built a scheduler that can run jobs every minute, hour, days, week, at specific times, even on specific days as well. So if you look at these examples, I can organize downloads folders every minute or daily in real use. I can send daily reports at 6 p.m. I can also run backups every Monday at 2 a.m. And once started, the scheduler just keeps running, checking for jobs to execute. So you just have to set it and forget it. So you can also go over to the README to also see a breakdown of this and get more info as to how you can also run the scheduler. And this will also be part of your assignments. So that's automation. But before we wrap up, let's talk about doing this right. So if you go through the README as well, you can see, aside the in-depth guidelines I've given, you can also see some best practices that I've given on how to also make sure that your credentials are protected and more info as well. Now over to best practices. Here are a few quick best practices to make your automation reliable. Number 1, error handling. So whilst you are building or even testing, things can go wrong. Networks fail, files move, websites change. So it'd be wise to use the try except blocks or login so you know what happened. Notice how all our scripts log what they are doing. You can see the logs just by the file area as well. This is crucial for debugging. Number 2, security. Never hard code passwords. Use environment variables for config files and keep your .m file out of version control. So you can also either go ahead and git ignore it so that when you make any push to your version control, it doesn't display for the public to have access to. Number 3, start small. Don't try to automate everything at once. Start with one annoying task, get that working, and then you can move to the next. Number 4, test everything. Always test your automation with sample data before running on real stuff. Create a test folder if possible, a test email address as well. Number 5, document your code. Documentation is very important, and the future you will thank the present you for documenting your code. Write doc strings, add comments, make it clear what each part does. So if you go to any of the files that you have here, you can see that I added comments here. So you can see exactly what each part of the file does. And I even added some security notes for you, which says never had code credentials in your script, just like I mentioned earlier. And to wrap up, we've seen how to automate file organization, emails, web interactions, and scheduling, all with beginner-friendly Python. So your homework is to identify one repetitive task in your workflow, start small, maybe just organizing one folder, and then build from there. And all the resources you would need have been made available for you in the README. Yes, so these are they. So you can go ahead and read through these documents for the resources to help you better understand each of the libraries we are working with and their use cases. And always remember, every expert was once a beginner. So start small, be patient with yourself, and soon you'll have your computer working for you instead of the other way around. The GitHub repository as well will also be made public and available for you if you also want to contribute to this project or try it on your end. Thank you, and let's keep building. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll take your questions now.
That was incredibly amazing session, Joy. I really loved the way you have walked through the demo. It was outstanding. I'm sure audience have equally enjoyed like the way I did. Thanks again for sharing your knowledge, Joy. Folks, stay tuned for the next session. See you.